I'm Harry Frazier. I'm currently in 7th grade at A.L.F. Stanback, and I'm 12 years old.
I'm Sarah Lutz. I'm 16. I'm a senior and I go to Cedar Ridge High School. Yes. AP Psychology.
A friend of mine in gym is not treated equally, in my opinion, because, people just, they feel like they have something better to do with their time, I'm sure. And they really just don't take much care of the other students like that. I think that unless a student is obviously upset or in distress in any way, the teachers really just kind of stick with teaching. I feel like they're not doing the worst that they could do, but they're not doing the best either. We do have 3 guidance counselors, though, which is very nice. I know all 3 of them are very nice people. And I think that they definitely help a lot of people, but a lot of people don't go there for help often, and they are just overlooked, and I really honestly just don't think anything is being done there. And I think that it's something that half the administrators and staff are probably not even thinking about. I think that there are definitely people in the administration that could change this, but I think that they may be more focused on other things.
It doesn't. And that's the problem. It doesn't. It treats it as, oh, these people exist, but they're not here. There are other people, there are other groups, and oh, we should be compassionate towards them, but it's very much an ostracizing sort of thing. The idea that obviously nobody in this class has a mental illness, and that's really uncomfortable when you're a person sitting in that class who does have a mental illness and feeling like you are the other. Yeah, it gets glossed over very much, and if it doesn't get glossed over, it gets treated as an inconvenience. I think the psych curriculum and just the way that the psych class is taught needs to be more inclusive of all perspectives on life and all experiences and backgrounds. The class needs to be conscious of including everybody's background, including the fact that we all have different experiences with mental illness, and that mental illness in this psych class does not exist in a bubble. I mean, I'm guessing the majority of high school students have some kind of experience with mental illness, whether it be a mental illness they have or a mental illness a parent or sibling has. A lot of us have experienced it in some way, and so I think you can't address psychology fully and properly without addressing people's personal experiences with it.
They don't really make accommodations. They don't really address the needs of students. The curriculum is set up so that it tells us what we need to teach and what students need to be able to do. But there's really nothing that indicates how we're supposed to handle certain situations or specific students that have may have mental disorders that, the curriculum would be relevant to. I think this is where professional development comes in. I think teachers need to be aware, tuned in of things that are going on with their students, and I think there's a bunch of different ways that can happen. It can happen through education and awareness in professional development. What are the best ways to work with students who are struggling with mental disorders. And I think some of that too is what comes naturally to the teacher, how they build student-teacher connections, so that some teachers have very good intuition about these kinds of things and others don't. But in general, professional development will help kind of level the playing field where that's concerned. So for me, it's about getting to know students. It's about those relationships and having students feeling comfortable where they can come to me and say, hey, this is really tough for me, and working through that so that they can get the information they need and hopefully use it to develop awareness and education for other people. But yeah, a lot of that is on the onus of the teachers to work through those kinds of situations.
I think there's different levels. There's some people who will tell the school system that they have a mental illness and what their needs are, and the school will, depending on the level of mental illness, may qualify as a disability. And then there's an individualized education plan that's put together to make accommodations for that student. For example, kids with severe ADHD, they might have an IEP that has accommodations such as extra test time or testing in a separate setting or sitting in front. As you get older, those same accommodations can exist if the student needs it. Now, some people are more private about their mental illness and don't necessarily, or their mental illness doesn't qualify them as a disability status in the school system. For those kids, they oftentimes find that they can, or they might need help, but they can get in a relationship with a guidance counselor. And so oftentimes guidance counselors work with students to, if you're upset, then you can come in and we can talk about it and work through it and hopefully keep you in the school for the day. Now, with limited resources in the school, it can become very difficult to make accommodations for everybody. And when you have large class sizes and teachers spread too thin, then oftentimes children with mental illness become far more challenging and therefore sometimes get labeled as the bad kid or the problem kid and don't get the help that they need. So in order for you to get the help that you need, kids and parents need to really communicate to the school to the level that they're comfortable with what's going on and what accommodations or what help they think that the student might need in order to be successful at school. The overarching thing that I would like to see change would be more resources in the school, more social workers, more guidance counselors, more smaller class sizes so teachers can provide a little bit more of that extra kind of emotional and developmental support as opposed to only academics. I find that different schools have different strengths. There's some schools that can really support kids who have some different needs. and work with them. And then there's other schools that aren't as good with that. So I think that all administrators and school personnel need some training in different mental illnesses and diversity acceptance. And oftentimes there's just really simple things that you can do that can really help someone who is having some struggles with mental illness.